So, hi everyone. This is Atino Wasal of the Loud Voice Podcast slash Atino Wasal Podcast. And the Loud Voice Podcast is a podcast that showcases people's stories, things they're doing in communities to actually make people's lives better. All right, and we are speaking to people's efforts, whether small or big, in just trying to make our communities better, make our lives better. And today, I'm in Malindi, yes, a little far from home where we're used to, and I just came here for a story. I met an amazing woman who has, let me call it an education hub or a digital hub, yes, that focuses on education for communities in Malindi, for young women in Malindi, for the youth of Malindi. And I'd just like her to introduce herself and tell us just a little bit of who she is and why we're here today. Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Nina Chung. I'm president and founder of Elimu Development Projects. We just refer to ourselves as Elimu. And our main project here in Kenya is this Elimu Resource Center, where we are based at the moment. I am from Canada, came over in 2004 as a volunteer initially, was based at a youth polytechnic, and very quickly learned how difficult it is for children and their parents to get a decent education. I was just watching the kids come for a little while, drop out, not be able to come back. And so I thought maybe I can do something about that, and stepped in, started sponsoring some kids, 2 little boys, really, was how it all started. Eventually started sponsoring girls to a sewing project. Then got into sponsoring kids to stay in school. And as all of that developed, realized that I can't do this alone by myself for very long. And so I started engaging local Kenyan community. Now work with our CEO, Kamotho Ndungu. He is also our co-founder. And for many years we've been together, sort of setting the foundation stones of this organization and building it up.
All right. So, before you bring in a guest to actually speak of what they do, you have to do a little digging on their background, all right? And I did a little background on you, and I understand you were doing something totally different before you started the education bit. You were in communications a while back, it's some years back. Just tell us how that transition came about and why did you decide to make that shift now?
Yeah, I love to tell our young people here that if you'd asked me 10, 20, 25 years ago if I was going to be running a charitable organization in Kenya, or well, I guess a bit further than that now, I've been here for 20 years, but 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago, I would have had I would have just laughed.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, what did I do? My background, my studies is in anthropology at university. I have a Bachelor of Social Sciences in anthropology. In order to work in that field, I would have had to go back and do a master's, and I'm not really very academic, so I chose not to do that. And I got into communications after university. Worked in the Youth Hostel Association in Canada, which is now called Hosteling International, for many years. Built up my comms skills, and eventually left the job to start up my own company, actually with a partner. And so we were now consulting in PR, marketing, and communications.
All right. I had to bring that out because I also have a major in communication PR. So I was like, we have so much in common. At least there's something major that we have in common. So, Nina, you living that and coming to Kenya as a volunteer.
Yeah.
And I know with volunteer work, pay and whatever, so you're leaving a prestigious job to come in as a volunteer. And then that is how Elimu came up. How has the journey been? Maybe you can just give us a little background on how it started, how things have been, just the whole story of how Elimu came to be until today, 2024.
Yes. All right. So was supposed to be here for 2 years, 2004 to 2006, in that volunteer posting. But like I said, in that time, I met these two young boys, James and Joseph. They were living with their grandmother, who couldn't afford to take them to school. You know, over here there are school fees, even for kindergarten,
Exactly.
which is now called PP1. Many things have changed since I'm here. So stepped in and just started paying the $50 fees. I mean, whatever it was in those days, 1,000 shillings or something to pay for the administration to get them into school. Put some school uniforms on their little bodies and a backpack on their backs, and then I used to actually help them with their homework in the evenings and those things. And I thought that was enough.
Okay.
You know, pay school fees, put uniforms on kids, and off they go.
Exactly.
But over the years of working with them, I realized there's a lot of mentorship that's needed. Maneuvering through the education system here in Kenya is complicated for parents. But I just kept taking another step and another step forward. So, like I said, we first started off with the two boys in school. Then, from my polytechnic experience, I realized that sewing is a really great boost for women, especially in rural communities.
Exactly.
If a woman has a sewing machine and a sewing business, she will not sleep hungry.
Oh, yes.
And so at the Polytechnic, I was watching mainly boys going through the mechanics and the carpentry, but then when they would graduate and go off to get attachments and to find work, they really didn't have enough skills to get straight into that career or that trade. Whereas the sewing trade, the girls could basically just start the very next day making money for themselves. So started also working with a local college here, Harry Ministries Sewing Project, in fact, and sponsoring girls to that. Then in time, I started also helping more kids to be sponsored to school. And so I was just doing this with friends and family and sort of informally. But the time came when I realized I can't do this alone anymore.
The numbers were getting bigger.
The numbers were growing, the work was growing. I still needed to come back and forth between Canada and Kenya, so I needed a base of people here that were going to keep things going. And so that's now when I started to get formal. The first thing I did actually was go back to Canada and look into setting up a charitable organization. And, well, as God would have it, things just fell into place, and I met the right people, and I was guided in this direction and that. By 2010, we had a board of directors, just a few people, 4 of us, and set up a website and started doing some small fundraising activities. Then once I came back here now, I started looking for a team to work with me. So that's where my CEO now, Kamothon Dungo, really came in very valuable. And he's gathered around a group of people to us. In the beginning, we were working from my home here in Malindi. I was spending 9, 10, 11 months of the year here. And then just going back to deal with the board of directors and do the administrative things that needed to be happening there. And then I was really focusing most of my time here, just getting these projects up and running.
Oh, that is a thick background. That is a background over there. I noticed that things have changed, even from your story, that how Elimu started. It has grown. There's been so much change that has gone on. It started just by you helping 2 children get away to go to school. And I know there's been a lot of change because there is so many years, from 2004 to 2024.
20 years.
In 20 years. I know in 20 years things have not remained the same. How is Elimu right now? And how would you describe what the changes that has happened and how they came about? And I know you have beneficiaries, and just maybe touch a little bit on the projects you do and how they relate back to communities here in Malindi.
Yeah, so one of the biggest changes that's happened is that little James and Joseph, who were in kindergarten back then, are now graduated.
Adults, yeah.
One from college, she's doing social communications, and the other one has just graduated from Technical University of Kenya, from Nairobi, in commerce. So that's the whole point of what I'm doing here.
Okay.
And Elimu has also grown up. So like I said in the beginning, we were working from my home. In 2016, we opened the first Elimu Resource Center. And we were very excited about it at the time. It was in the Malindi Mall, just up the road here. We could seat about 80 kids comfortably. And some days we'd have 120 in there. And we used to have up to 100 waiting outside to get in. So when we opened Elimu Resource Center, what we were doing was using Kindles or e-readers and computers to give kids access to textbooks, mathematics, training tools, storybooks that they couldn't get even in paper format. We've always still had the paper books with us too, but it was our way of providing access to the educational resources that kids were not getting in the classroom and didn't have at home, and they came in droves. So we very quickly realized that 80 seats was not going to be enough, and we started looking around, and we were very blessed to have this facilities. This is now 4 stories.
It's a very nice facility.
And we have had up to 300 kids in here at a given time, students in here at a given time. And because of this, I think the big change for us too was opening these locations. It gave us, I like to say, a base, a space, and a face. So somewhere to work from, somewhere to house all the administration that we were doing from my house. And then people began to know who Elimu is and what work we do, because we actually have a physical building that you can come and visit.
Exactly.
So inside this space we have the digital libraries, so from primary school and high school, textbooks, tutorials, interactive digital tutorials. We have the set book videos that we show. We have our Digitech Lab and Cisco Networking Academy, which is really geared to kids after they've graduated from high school, and that's all about giving them the digital skills that they're going to need either for further learning or to get a real job or to start their own kind of a job. We have run from here our Elimu Sewing Project, which sponsors girls to a local sewing college, and in here we house what we call the Artisan Maker Space. And that's for our sewing alumni after they've graduated. So they now have a space where we've got the electrical machines, we've got the overlock machines, and we do training with them here to sort of expand their experience of the fashion world, to have them know more about fashion and design and textiles. So we're making backpacks and bags, we're making curtains and pillowcases, and just taking them kind of into the bigger industry. On the very top floor, we have our offline e-learning solution. That's based on the Colibri Learning Management Program, and that is a way that we can put a lot of good quality content in digital format onto a laptop or a server, and then the Wi-Fi system of that computer boosts the signal out so that kids in a classroom or in a whole compound can access the information and the resources on that server through a tablet, through a phone, through a computer, and it's just another way that we're getting educational content into the hands of kids and adults and youth that need it.
That seems to be like really living with the community here. And just to touch on that, how has the community actually received Elimu? Because I know of hubs of up-to-date, they have everything and they still don't have people actually inside those hubs. What has been the reception of what Elimu is doing here in Malindi by the community?
We've had Very, very positive reception here. And I can actually say, for me personally, when people learn that I am here to help children with education, I get very well respected. I've been treated very well all over Kenya. When people hear that that's what I'm doing here. But here in Malindi, like I said, when we first opened the smaller center, and literally 100 children waiting outside to come and get in. We work with the teacher community. So our digital space here, along with having the training program in it for youth, we've opened that up to schools. A lot of schools in Malindi don't have their own computers, don't have the digital skills, so they can now bring their kids here. We've just had one of our schools here in the last few weeks, and so they can come and the children can get the access to the learning that's needed for the new CBC competency-based curriculum. There's a really big push on digital literacy within that program, and so we're able to offer the teachers that. They can come here, we help them to actually train the kids in the digital literacy activities, and they can use this as their own computer lab
space also. Okay, I know that working with youth is easier, but when you bring in children also, most parents are skeptical. Oh, where do you want to take our kids? So what is it all about? And blah blah blah. So many things happening. What do you get support from parents? And if you can just name what kind of support do you get? Because I know it's not an easy fit to actually do, and it would be nice to actually get support from community, and also you can tie that to how you actually source for kids to actually come. Do you put out advertisement that we have a library, people can come and use, or it's just word of mouth? So one person comes in and now they all flow in. Yes.
A little bit of everything, but we did a lot of work in the very beginning when we opened when we moved out of my house and finally had a space in the community. We went to each and every school. So we divided up as a team. We took the Kindles with us. We did demonstrations. And that's really how we got the word out. We host information days. We have a youth info forum, which is a day where people can come and learn all the services we have here. We invite, that's mainly Form 4s and Form 3s and 4s to come. Those are getting ready to graduate high school. But it's an open day that people can come in, and we train the youth on all the various opportunities that are there for them after high school. Not just here at the center, but just in general in the community and the things they can access through us. And we've done other things like that, open days. We've done competitions for girls and tech training. And these are all sorts of different activities that we do. We're actually coming up, I'm not sure when you'll be launching this, but we're on September 25th. We'll be having an official opening of our Digitech space. And again, that's going to be another opportunity to get the community in here, especially educationists, stakeholders from government, community representatives, parents, and youth as well. But we are a very open space here. So you're welcome to drop in and check us out anytime.
Will you give us that invite and then we will just come in? Yes, local administration, local government and all that. And I know in this space collaboration is very, very important. How are you working with maybe the county government, the Ministry of Education here, and even the Children's Department? Because I have an understanding, I've been here a short while, but Malindi is more of a rural community. Semi-rural, yes, exactly. So there's still so many things happening in the background of kids still not going to school at a very young age, dropping out of school and things like that. How are you working with these stakeholders in the children's welfare to actually push on the change, because we want a change that is all-rounded? Yes.
Yeah, so we specifically focus on vulnerable communities, children, youth, women. We work in the prisons, we work with the Girls Rescue Center, the Juvenile Remand Center. We take our digital tools in there and we keep learning happening in those communities. So it's very important that we work with the prison system.
Oh, yeah.
We have our own social welfare officer within our organization, and also our educationist who focus on counseling and mentorship. But we are not, that's not our main activity, that's not our strength. So we always make sure that we are linking with the social services department for things like that. It's very important that we work with the Ministry of Education for all of the programs that we do. So yeah, we're collaboration and co-creation are two of our very important values as an organization. And for me, actually, beyond that too, because you can see that I am a Mzungu from Canada, leading an organization in Kenya, but all of my team here are Kenyans. And it's very important to me. We're actually actively now working towards the self-sustainability of this organization in Kenya, so that in the future they won't need me, they won't need the Canadian connection. It'll be managed, funded, operated from Kenya, by Kenyans.
Yes, let me just ask on that, because I've noticed you have computer labs, there's programming, there's the Cisco project, there's the Artisan project. If you can just touch on it, is it paid for or it's free?
Right, so there's a combination of things that are going on here. So we do a lot of sponsoring of children. So there are fees attached to those. At the Sewing College, we sponsor the fees that happen there. When kids come to us for our digital libraries, it's 20 bob to come and stay for the day and use as many books as you want. We just realize that if something is free, sometimes it has no value. So the 20 bob was what it would have cost back in 2016 to use the local library. Now that's changed over time too, but we've kept that going. Our Cisco Networking Academy and Digitech Lab training have fees attached to them, but again, we're always working to find sponsors to help those who can't even afford the fees. That we try to keep it as affordable as we can, but we also need to be sustainable. So that's the way that we do it. One thing we're always encouraging our government representatives, if they want to help us with bursaries and sponsorships for our kids to come and get the digital literacy skills, we're very much happy to receive those.
We look forward to that. I love that people are thinking of actually how to sustain it, and providing affordable education is one of the ways to go about it. So as we the tail end, almost wrapping up, I know you have like a picture in your head of where you want Elimu to go. Where do you see Elimu in the next 5-10 years, and what do you think will change? What do you want to make better at the moment? And maybe you touch on the challenges that you have faced so far, because I know there are many. Being a foreigner in a different space, people will want to ask, why here? Okay, why couldn't you do it elsewhere or even in your country? Because I'm sure that people in Canada that might need this help also. So maybe you just touch on that, where you're seeing Elimu in the future, the challenges you faced and how you're working to actually better them, and just a comprehensive kind of education hub.
Okay, that's a big question. Definitely. There have been very, very many challenges, but also so many blessings along the way, which have allowed us to be where we are today. Sorry, that's messing me up. So one of the biggest challenges, I guess, really for me has been coming from outside, getting to know the community, learning the language. I'm not perfect, but I can have a pretty good conversation now. I have people from Nairobi come down and tell me that I speak better than them. So it's been really important for me to be realistic about the needs of the society here and the culture, and that whatever we do here has to speak to them and be valuable and take them from where they're at to where they want to go. And so I've been helped by that by my Kenyan team. And I've had a very amazing team around me. I'm very, very blessed. A team of many young people. And like I said, co-creation is one of our big values. We love to have these young people coming in and helping us to figure out how to solve the problems that we're identifying here. So I think facing those challenges has been a lot about collaborating, giving young people that opportunity to have their input. Stepping back, it's something I had to learn as a founder, and just letting things be done maybe a bit differently than I might have done them. And so, here we are, we've built up this base from which we now can reach out to the community with all the programs that we have here. And we have young people coming in, they feel very at home. Excuse me, dry voice. They feel very at home here, and they make this place their own. That's a big part of my dream. And then just to expand beyond the Malindi space, we really want to get some of our programs going all the way all the way through Kilifi County and beyond Kenya, if we can do that too.
Okay, so I'm finishing up. Sorry about that. Why Kenya?
Why
Malindi? Yes. You could have gone to the western part of Kenya.
I was never coming to Africa.
Okay.
I thought, oh no, I can't handle Africa. There's poverty there, and there's all these difficulties and challenges, and I wouldn't know what I'm doing. But when I applied to a voluntary organization, they didn't give you a chance to choose where you're going or what you're doing.
Okay.
They took your skills and matched you up. And so I ended up being told that I'm being offered a place in Gede, in the coast of Kenya. And I thought, that's not what I was planning, but let me give it a try.
Yes.
And I arrived here, have never looked back. One little piece of my background, I was born in Guyana in South America. A country very similar to Kenya, much smaller. But so from 0 to 7, I was living in Guyana. And when I came here, there was something in me that just felt quite at home. In the heat, in the
the coast,
the environment, the way the cement structures, it felt
like
very comfortable. So I didn't choose Kenya, Kenya chose me.
I'm happy about that 20 years plus you're still here.
And feeling like a local, like a mwenyeji.
So I am so grateful that we got to do this, to learn more about just how you started Elimu and the reasons behind it. And we as the Loud Voice podcast community / Atino Wasal podcast community can't wait to see how far Elimu is going to go. We hope we will be back to see it even 2 or 3 years from now. Actually, you saying, what did you say? A base, a face,
and a space.
And a space.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew of this space just by walking down the streets, and there's an there showing you a direction, Elimu Resource Center, and I was like, can I just go in and try and see what it's all about? And I was here. It's an amazing space for learners, an amazing space for digital strategies, I can call it that. Anybody who wants to get into the digital world, computer, programming and all that, artisan, this is a place, it's in Malindi, very close to town, not so far away, and also very close to the beach. That is the most important thing of all this. The air here is okay, it's so refreshing and all that. I am so happy that you got to come to Kenya, and 20 years down the line you're still here, still making a change in people in the community, and we hope to just see you guys so even more and more. Thank you so much, Nina, for coming to our podcast, and we hope we'll keep on being in touch.
Welcome anytime.
Thank you so much. Let me leave her to go get some water. Thank you guys so much. We got to hear the story of Nina Chung. and Elimu Resource Center here in Malindi, and everything that they do. I hope that everything they do here is changing communities, because I know it sure is. And that is all we had for you today. So until next time, just bye.